What's up guys, how you doing? Welcome to another video, and today we're talking about one of my favourite cameras of all time, the 7D Mark II. And I thought I would share with you today some accessories that you can pick up on Amazon for not too much of a bad price. Pretty much everything we're going to talk about here is less than £30, and in fact most of them are less than like 15, even £10. Simple little accessories that maybe people wouldn't think of that I think can really improve your experience with the 7D Mark II. Before we get into the content of that, I'm going to ask you guys to do two things for me. Number one, hit that like button because it helps me out loads on my channel and I really appreciate it. Also, why don't you think about subscribing? Loads of other videos to come on my channel, which I think you might enjoy, and loads of 7D Mark II videos already on my channel if you too are a big fan of this camera. All of the accessories that I talk about today are linked in the description below, so if you want to go check them out for yourselves, you can. Follow those links, check them out, have a look in a little bit more detail. If you guys are interested in finding out a little bit more about my photos, go check out my Instagram page, @RobSamblesSport for my sports photos, or just @RobSambles for all of my other general landscape, travel photos, stuff like that, loads of which are taken with this camera. Right, look, no more messing around. Let's get into some good accessories that I think you can pick up for your 7D Mark II. Number one of the things that I think massively improves your user experience of this camera, especially if, like me, you are a sports, action, maybe a wildlife shooter, and that is the battery grip. Now, I'm going to jump in straight away and say this is not the official Canon battery grip. This is made by Newer, however you want to say it. But you know what? It works really well, and it has worked flawlessly for me for something like 7 years, so there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Don't be afraid of it just because it's a third-party grip. It works really well, and it will save you a ton of money. If you guys aren't 100% familiar with how this works, it basically goes into your camera, you take out your battery, and your battery little door like that. The door then clips onto this, which is really cool because it means you're not going to lose it whilst you've got your grip attached. Your battery goes inside there, and then this screws into there. And what this does is it gives you a whole other set of controls so that you can use the camera in portrait mode. And where this is really useful is if you're out and about shooting sports action and you want to be able to quickly move from landscape position shooting to portrait. You have a whole set of buttons. So everything, if like myself, you use back button focus, you've got that there. Shutter button, everything. You've got a whole set of buttons, the joystick and everything, so your experience using the grip is exactly the same as if you were using the camera upright. Such a good accessory, really improves the usability experience. Of course, it makes the camera bigger, but that's not always a bad thing, right? It gives you that chunky, like 1DX feeling camera, which I actually quite enjoy. So number one is the battery grip. Right, what have we got next? Okay, next up, we have got a screen protector for the LCD screen on the back. Now, you guys, you probably can't see this actually because it's barely visible even to your eye, but there is one on the back of my LCD screen right here. Find it really good. Such a cheap and easy accessory. You put it on there, barely even shows, doesn't interfere with your screen at all, and it just gives you that nice layer of protection. Don't know if you guys find it, but I find that over time, these screens get like a layer of grime and like little tiny scratches. And with the screen protector, you pull it off, replace it after a period of time. It keeps it nice and new, well protected under there. I use one of those on pretty much all of my cameras. Like I said, nice, easy, cheap, good accessory to pick up. Really worthwhile checking out. Screen protector for your LCD screen. Okay, moving swiftly on to the third thing, and that is the little plate that you can attach onto the bottom of your camera to make it go onto your stand, your tripods, everything else. Now, the reason why I find this so useful is I actually have a ton of these. I've got about 6 of these things. And for the majority of my time, I actually have one of these attached onto the bottom of my 7D. Now, it's really low profile, doesn't really interfere with the actual camera body at all. And what that enables you to do is quick release onto your tripod, your monopod, whatever it might be. If, like me, you're a sports shooter, I actually use my 7D2 a lot for my remote cameras. And in that situation, I'm attaching this onto magic arms. And the fact I've got the quick release clamp makes that so easy. I can clamp it in, tighten it on, it's there. I want to move it to my tripod or whatever else it might be. Really easy, nice and simple to use. And I use that all the time. I've actually got one of those on my R6 right now where I'm filming this video. So it's attached into the tripod, nice and quick for me to switch it around. Really useful, cheap to pick up. Link in the description. description. Check them out. I just touched on remote cameras, which leads me nicely onto my next thing, and that is actually a set of remote triggers for the camera. Now, you guys who follow my videos frequently, you might well know that actually now I'm using the Pocket Wizards, but for a long old time I was using the Yongnuo, or however you say it, 603s, and they were really good. They're such a cheap, decent set of remote triggers. They're really, really good. You can use them for your camera. You can use them to help you fire remote flashes or lights, all sorts, and they're such a good price. So I wanted to talk about those in this video, even though I have now myself moved on to using the Pocket Wizard Plus 3s, just because it gives me a bit more usability for some of the remote camera stuff that I do. But those Yongnuos are so good, really worth checking out, and they're such a good price for what they are. They work really well with my 7D2. I use those with my 7D2 for pretty much all of my remote camera work for a good few years. Okay, right, what do we have next? Talking about remote shutter release takes me on to the cable shutter release. Now, where this has come useful is when you guys are out and about doing things like your landscape photos, especially your long exposures. You might be in low light, might be at night, maybe some kind of astrophotography, photographing the moon, whatever it might be. This is so useful. Where this comes in most handy is making sure that you avoid any kind of camera shake. You set up your camera in the tripod, you attach this in the side, and that enables you to trigger your camera from a good 6 foot away without touching the camera tripod setup at all. When you're doing your long exposures, it won't introduce any kind of vibration to the camera. Works really well in that sense. Another cool thing you can do with this is set it up to intervals, so it will set photos on set periods of time. If you want to shoot in like the bulb mode on your camera, won't get into the detail of that now, but if you want to do that, really long shutter times, like 2 minutes, whatever it might be, you can do that with this really easily, and you can actually lock it into place, so you don't have to stand there holding the button down for 2 minutes. You can do it with this really easy. Well worth checking out, good price as well, link in the description. Okay, moving into the next thing. Now, it's a bit of a different one, and full transparency, I actually don't own one of these, but the reason I wanted to add this to the video is because I've been looking at them lately, and I've actually been looking at them for my 1DX as well. You can get these really cool silicone covers that protect your camera body. Now, in the past, I've done stuff like using gaffer tape to protect the different surfaces, stop that wear and tear, so if ever in the future I sell my cameras on as used, like I did with my other 7D Mark II, it means it's really nice and protected. The outside shell's got no marks on, everything like that. And that's where these could be really useful. I'm going to get hold of one and check it out. You can also get them in all different colours. You don't have to get the black one. If you want to do something more funky with your camera, a red cover, camouflage for you guys who are out there hiding in the woods taking photos of the birds. I hope that's all you're taking photos of if you're hiding in the woods. But nonetheless, you can get yourself a camouflage cover for your camera. Looks like a really cool accessory to me. Like I said, I haven't tried one, but I'm going to check it out. Link to the description is the one that I've been looking at the moment. And moving into the last accessory of today's video, something which actually is arguably the most useful accessory that I have, and that is the dual battery charger. Most people are going to have spare batteries for their cameras, right? If I go out and shoot a big event, I'll normally go through a couple of batteries and I will change them halfway through. There is nothing worse when you're having to charge your gear. Charging up your battery, remembering, oh, I've got to go check it when that one's charged, I'm going to unplug that one, put the other one into charge, you forget, you come back, you've got one charged battery. Nightmare. This is so useful because I can plug in both my batteries, they charge up fully, nice, good to go, take them with me, real easy, and it saves me a ton of time and loads of faff of me forgetting to charge the batteries properly. Again, not too much money, probably one of the most useful accessories that I've talked about in the video. Anyway, guys, that just about rounds us off. I wanted to share with you some of the accessories for the 7D Mark II that I find to be really useful. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favour, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next video.